Think you know RimWorld? I bet you don't. In this video, I'll show you over 80 hidden tricks, exploits, and survival strategies that can completely change the way you play. We're talking combat hacks, caravan secrets, pawn mood boosts, and even DLC-only mechanics most players never use. If you want to take your colony from struggling to unstoppable, don't skip this. To make things simple, I've split everything into categories: base building, pawn management, combat and defense, caravans, production and trade, DLC-specific tips, and useful shortcuts. That way, no matter what stage your colony is in, you'll find tricks that help you right now. And trust me, some of these are so game-changing, you'll wonder how you ever played without them. You can dig tunnels at the edge of a mountain base so that when you get overwhelmed, you can escape with your pawns through the tunnel. Solar panels don't block wind turbines. Put a growing zone as your wind turbine's zone. It keeps trees from growing there, or just use this auto cut button. Shelves work outside. They don't need a roof to function. So you can safely store your thousands of steel in a much smaller space. Some animals like pigs eat corpses. Put your dumping stockpile inside their pens to feed them and dispose of bodies quickly. Straw matting is better than sterile tiles in kitchens. It gets dirty less often. Sterile tiles are only good if you have an active cleaner. You can rename zones. It is better to have potato, rice, named zones rather than growing zones 120. If you are tribal and want to get rid of small amounts of items, you can use campfires to get rid of them rather than using an incinerator. You can also use them to cook food if you are ever caravanning. Potatoes don't care about soil quality, so you can use potatoes instead of rice or corn if you don't have rich soil. Growing zones harvest all plants. This includes berry bushes and ambrosia, since it does not have to be sowed plants and can be harvested when fully grown. Caravan spots can substitute for animal pens early game. If you place a single disconnected power cable underneath any device that needs power, you can just click the reconnect cable button to instantly turn it on and off, especially useful for turrets. You can put decaying corpses in water. They will decay much faster. The hidden conduit is immune to fire, but it is 2 times more expensive than regular. If you make rectangular rooms, cut out the corners. They're a perfect place to put things that improve multiple rooms at the same time. For example, a single gold wall, which will be visible from all adjacent rooms and improve all their perceived quality ratings at the same time. Make your kill box a room with doors held open. This way you can make the raiders go where you want. If you don't know what to research, rush fabrication for components, because you would have to do this research in the future anyway. For optimal placements, you can put 2 workstations next to each other so that 2 of your pawns can talk more often. You can build temporary shelves that stores building materials next to big projects so that your pawns won't have to walk as far. Putting mortars next to the dining room, since pawns tend to go there, and easy access in case of raids. Placing art near hospitals and your kill boxes so your pawns can get beautiful environment buff. Pawns have their own favorite colors. If they are wearing their favorite color, they get a small mood buff. Biosculptor pods can pause all medical conditions of a pawn if you don't have a doctor on the spot. Pawns can live without a stomach and only debuffs the metabolism by 50%. You can save your pawns from frostbite by throwing a Molotov in a corner of a stone room. This will increase the room temperature, so you will save your pawns. Non-lover pawns can share a double bed without the mood penalty if they like each other enough. Mood debuff goes to 0 if their opinion of each other is 100. Colonists will get a minor mood bonus while using the skills that they have passion at. If 2 colonists get in love with each other but their ideology prevents them from sleeping in the same bed before marriage, they'll get want to sleep with my lover mood debuff. Solution: place 2 single beds in the same bedroom. They still can't have loving, but the mood debuff will go away. More pawns is equal to more specializations, so that means faster work in your colony. Generalists are very inefficient. Don't overlook bad pawns. Some may be perfect for specialized roles. It's not good to have 1 pawn who does everything. It's slow and inefficient. When you have 3 specialists, everyone will do what they can and everything will be much faster. Pawn specialization tips. 1 pawn focused only on research can double as a doctor if needed. 2 or 3 full-time farmers or ranchers, and at least few full-time soldiers. Friendly fire doesn't work within 5 tiles. That means you can space out your pawns a maximum of 5 tiles so that they don't get shot. Getting shot will make your pawns hate each other. When fighting impids or any fire-related stuff, pawns covered in fire foam don't take fire damage or catch fire You can place fire foam poppers in your bunkers. You can put brain implants into your slaves, so that when they rebel, you can use EMPs to down them instantly. Mechanoid turrets are considered structures and thus take huge amounts of damage from breach axes, where even the Zeus hammer and its EMP effect is inferior, but safer since breach axe still has a chance at causing the turret to explode. Displacement abilities like skip, jump pack, and vampire jump will auto-attack upon landing if enemies are nearby. Constantly down a sacrificial pawn to lower adaptation. It makes raids easier, a bit cheesy, but great in emergencies. In deep drill zones prone to infestations, place wooden floors and plant incendiary traps. Once bugs are downed, have a builder break a wall. The heat will vent instantly and your soldiers can move in. Use a psychic shock lance on a thrumbo to knock it out without a fight. Then tame, kill, or harvest it. Movement speed only affects caravan before forming, so remove every armor on your pawn and put it back right after you formed the caravan. If you can't win a caravan ambush, simply walk your pawn to the edge of the map. They can exit even with enemies still active, but you will lose all things on map. Horses and some other animals can drastically boost caravan speed. If your caravan is starving and crawling, drop pod or send food via another caravan. Always make bedrolls, even regular cloth. Colonists sleep outside much more comfortably and suffer less from mood debuffs. Let the caravan stop for the night. Movement at night is much slower, so you are wasting time unnecessarily. If you are in need of prisoners, wooden traps deal less damage to raiders than steel traps. Therefore, it can leave raiders downed instead of killed. There's an option on a crafting build to drop on the floor instead of take to best stockpile. This is useful since your crafting pawn will spend more time crafting than hauling. You can set your tailoring bench to produce each type of clothing, then set it to make until you have one. You don't need to worry about clothing for your pawns, since it will produce clothing until everyone has one. Even if you have no one assigned to hunting, you should mark every animal on the map to hunt anyway, because if any animal dies from something else, the body will instantly be allowed, so your colonists will bring the bodies back to base for butchering. In Arctic runs, always accept wanderers joining, especially the first one. Once they get to base, have them strip and succumb to hypothermia for free human meat, leather, and most importantly, untainted cold weather gear. If you remove all the beds or sleeping spots from a prison, prisoners won't throw any more tantrums, attempt breakouts, because the room they are in is no longer considered a prison. Your colonists will still interact with them, and the prisoner will still behave like a prisoner otherwise. If you host tribal guests, set their schedule to meditate and assign meditation spots under your anima tree. They'll grow anima grass all day. Production benches can share tool cabinets. They don't need to be in separate rooms. Yayo and flake are better currency than silver. They're more valuable, weigh less, and are easier to mass produce. Just forbid pawns from using them. Have your artist craft a gold statue up to 99%, then forbid the job and wait for an inspiration. Once it triggers, complete the statue. You'll get an insanely valuable piece. If you strip attackers before they die, their clothes won't be tainted. If you play with children, make sure they attend school. They gain skill points extremely quickly and become immediately useful in adulthood. Mechanoids are great for dirty jobs. Let them mine, clean, or haul. This frees up your pawns for more important work, and they don't need rest or food. If you want to destroy the cube without triggering berserk rages, anesthetize all pawns obsessed with it first. When they wake up, they won't go berserk. Here's one I rarely see mentioned. When the Empire loans you soldiers to help fight off enemies they send, draft them and use them for manual hunting. Move them in groups, and you can take down tougher prey like elephants, rhinos, or entire packs of wild hogs. You'll quickly build up a huge food cache, perfect for feeding all those extra imperial mouths. Most entities have 200% psi sensitivity, making them very vulnerable to psi-casters. The unnatural corpse, however, is immune. The game uses an adaptation factor to scale difficulty. It decreases when pawns die or get downed and slowly rises again over time, making the game harder the longer you survive. You can use F1, F5 to instantly open key tabs like Work, Schedule, and Assign without clicking through the menu. If you hold Shift while moving around with the WSD keys, the camera will scroll at double speed, letting you move across the map much faster. You can even swap pawn portraits in the UI by holding down the left mouse button and dragging them. If you're keeping around 300 plus animals, you'll probably notice lag spikes every morning around 6 a.m. That's because all your animals wake up at the same time, and the game calculates their behavior in one big batch. And that's it for today's RimWorld Facts. I hope at least one of these tips surprised you or gave you an idea for your next colony. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share your own RimWorld fun fact down in the comments. Maybe I'll feature it in the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Good night.